Today's project is outdoors, so we're going to hear a lot of noise, but we're going to repair this crack in the door. And it was a long time ago. I was on a trip in Thailand and I was watching an old guy repair a boat, and he had a piece of jute fiber and some glue, and he was hammering it in the crack with the glue, and he said this is something he'd been doing for centuries. So I tried it on some doors at home and it worked. So I'm going to make a video about how to do that same technique on a wooden door. All we need is some white glue like that and natural fiber string. You do not want like a synthetic, a nylon or something. You want a cotton or jute string or something like that. And it's going to be quite simple. We're going to dip the string in the glue, and then we're going to poke it in the crack. The only preparation work we really need to do is to ensure that the crack is clean, so I've cleaned that out. Any tool that you need, like this screwdriver, happens to fit really well. So we can go down there, clean it out, make sure there's nothing in there that's going to keep the glue from adhering. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top. We're going to lay the string in there. We're going to leave a little bit up at the top so that we have something to work with, because we're going to need to hold on to this. Otherwise, when we push it in the crack, it's going to try to come down. It'll leave a gap at the top. And then we're just going to poke the string in here like this using a tool. And I have found that this particular screwdriver has the right width of tip to fit that crack. So yeah, that's really all you need, is something that's going to fit that crack. It's going to poke the string in there. If it's too narrow, it'll kind of bite into the string and it won't help. If it's too wide, it won't go in the crack. So you need something that's just right, you know, not too thick, not too thin. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to cut this off down here. I'm going to leave myself a little bit of extra. I'm going to dip it in the glue. I have a wet rag here for cleanup, so as I push it into the crack, I'm going to wipe the glue off the door, and that'll pretty much be it. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, I've put the string in the glue. I've let it soak until it's saturated. Now just take it out and let it drain a little bit. Wipe the excess off like that. Put it up here. Give myself a little bit of extra. I'm just going to lightly wipe it into the crack like that. Okay, so I've got it from start to finish. Now I'm going to use my select tool. By the way, if the string is too fat for the crack, you can twist it and make it narrower. If it's a little bit too small for the crack, you can untwist it a little bit, and that will help. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to poke it into the crack like this. And you want to make sure that you don't poke it all the way through the door. If the crack goes all the way through, which of course most of the time they do, you don't want it to go through the other side. So let's see. That. It's a hot one today, and that's probably when the cracks are going to open. I've been actually waiting for years for this crack to get wide enough. I was just it was so narrow that at one point I was just going to give up and go with putting caulking on it, because if it's a really tiny crack, you can't get any kind of string or even a piece of thread in them. So I was just going to go with caulk, but in the past I found that caulk's a very, very temporary solution. There we go. I think the glue is actually starting to dry up on me a bit because it was not being cooperative. Now I want to get the string a little bit below the surface so I can come back in and I can put like wood putty or something else over the top of it. Or in this case I'm going to use a white acrylic caulking. But if you want a more natural finish on the door, you leave yourself a little bit of space so you can get a good purchase on the caulking or the whatever you're going to put in there, the filler, whatever. It's getting sticky again. Whoops, that one tried to go through. Don't want that. You want to make sure that you have a constant depth, so you can use your fingers. You put a piece of tape on there, anything, to ensure that you put a constant depth on it. And then when I'm done, I'm going to come back over and I'm going to go down it like this to make sure that I do have that constant depth. And any areas that are high, I can poke in like this one right here. Make sure I have a consistent place to put in my filler, caulking, whatever I'm going to do. There we go. A little tight here, but it's better to be a little tight than a little loose. So if I need to, I can pull this out. I can twist the string tighter. Make sure I go the right direction. Twist the string tighter, which will allow me to get it down into the crack. There we go. And then let it expand again as the crack gets bigger. That did the trick. Twist it a little bit tighter, allows it to go in there. I may also have to come back with a smaller screwdriver or smaller implement to force it in there. You also want to make sure when you're pushing on this, you don't push the panels out of square. If you do, just reach around and push it back in there. But you want to keep those panels flat, because when the glue dries, that's going to be the position it stays in forever. Okay, now this upper piece up here, I've already got a string in. I put it on the other side. I cheated a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this out. I'm just going to get my arm out of the way. Cut this string off like that. Tuck it in there like that. Same down here at the bottom. There we go. Tuck it in there. Add some glue if I needed to. Clean the door up. And one more time, give it a depth check. Good, good, good. Out a little bit. Okay, better. Good. A little bit. Okay. And all the way down. And I've got one more to do, and then I will be done for the day. Okay, well that's it for fixing a crack in a wooden door using a piece of natural fiber string and a little bit of white wood glue. And that's pretty much it. Hope you found it useful and interesting in your DIY home repairs.